Hello, and welcome to Limitless Talks. This is the podcast that we talk about limitless leadership and how experience becomes a growth lever in the boardroom. I am your host, Camila Ferreira, an award winning CX leader, an author of Long Live CX, available on Amazon, and an international speaker. Today, I have the pleasure to welcome Jarryd Lahoud directly from South Africa. Jarryd is the CEO of iTalk International, and today we're going to talk about the future-proofing BPO. So, what buyers should demand in 2026 and beyond. With no further ado, Jarryd, welcome to the show, and please introduce yourself and let the audience know what do you do to transform experience into business growth.
Hi, Camilla. Thank you so much for hosting me. It's a privilege and honor to be on your show. I've been watching it for the last few months, so to actually be up here and chatting with you and presenting to your whole to all your followers is a great honor. I'm Jarryd, as you've discussed and mentioned. I'm the CEO of iTalk International. We're a BPO based out of Johannesburg, South Africa. We currently employ 2,500 people, with about 500 of those people on US-based work. And we are an outsource partner for big brands all over the globe. A bit of background on myself. I have been in the industry for 20 years. From when I was 16 years old, I started off as a call center agent, and I have worked my way up over the years to all different divisions within a call center, from agent to team leader to manager, to part of the tech team, part of the recruit, the people side of the business, part of finance, and eventually becoming the CEO in around 2017, 2018. It was around then up until now. And we have grown this business, iTalk, from what was originally just 20 seats in 2006 to 2,500 now. And, hopefully, which will be the case in 20 years' time from now, I'll still be the CEO of iTalk and still giving the best possible outcome to my clients out there in this new, ever-evolving AI world. So that's a bit of background on myself. Yeah.
What a journey. First of all, congratulations. You definitely climbed this corporate ladder and mostly in this BPO industry that as you mentioned, has been evolving. Right. So I have never worked on a BPO myself, but I have partnered with many BPOs throughout my career where I have led support teams. And I know that from when I used to lead teams when I was in Brazil, then later on in Latin America, up to now, things have significantly changed. And particularly right now, we are experiencing the AI era, which is bringing different challenges. Right. So, and since the topic today is the future proofing BPO, I want to start by asking you, what is kind of, in your opinion, what is the mindset shift that needs to happen, particularly for buyers when selecting BPOs from now on? You have gone through so many transformations and so many changes, and there is a significant one going on right now. So, what are the insights? What are the tips that you give for buyers that are looking for partnering with BPOs?
Look, in my view, there's this word AI around now, and what this word AI means to everybody is different. But what it means to me is that there's a change coming, right? And the way in which things were done in the past are not the way in which things are going to be done in the future. A big lever or driver of that, in my opinion, is customers have completely changed with this evolving digital and AI world. So customers now want instant gratification. The customer of today is not the same customer of 10 years ago. If I explain it through, one or two examples, if in my own world, 8 years ago in 2018, when I renovated my house, I had to go to get an interior designer involved. I had to go to different stores. I had to go check all different furnitures out, check different TVs, different microwaves, whatever the case may be, to furnish and do my house. And there was a long process and journey around that. Now in today's time, you can literally take a photo of a room, put it online. It can tell you exactly what to put in that room. And tomorrow you can have everything ordered and installed in your house. And if you're not happy with it, it can be returned immediately. And you get price comparisons from all of the competitors online. So we as customers have changed our expectations on customer service, and what we expect corporates to do for us has completely changed. And that's us of an older generation, right, in this tech evolving world. If I give you an example around my son, he's 2 years old, and he has been born and grown up in a world where he watches things on Netflix and Disney Plus. In December, when we went on vacation, we weren't connected to the Wi-Fi, and his iPad battery had died. So I turned on the TV and he started watching on the Disney Channel. And all of a sudden comes this thing called a break where adverts come on. And he kept hitting me and saying, "Daddy, please put the show back on. Daddy, put the show back on." And this continued until he started crying. And him as a starting out consumer doesn't even understand the world that we all went through of having to wait to watch the TV series we wanted, subscribe to the correct package. So customers have evolved and changed. And that means that the BPOs that you work with, the BPOs you worked with yesterday aren't the BPOs that you're going to work with into the future, because the BPOs that you're working with have to understand how consumers and customers have evolved over this time and have to be ready for the ever-evolving customer that wants instant gratification.
Oh, yeah, that's so true. And I was listening to you and thinking myself, I have a 60-year-old at home and I kind of go through exactly the same problem. Mommy, why do we have these ads? And not only this, I think that the newest generations, they are growing used to a more immediate solution and a more personalized solution. So whenever, for example, on my end, even though I'm not that new generation, but whenever I receive a mass email that I know was not written to me, but I was included as part of a what we call marketing campaign, it does not click in. Because nowadays we already have tools that allow companies to know me better and tailor the communication to my needs.
100%.
So I think, right? So
yeah.
Speaking of clients, so that's the expectation that I have as a regular client, a regular consumer. So I agree with you. Now we are changing, or we are evolving into this world that data is a commodity. However, like any commodity, you need to learn how to use the data. And that's where companies can differentiate themselves for the good or for the bad. Because you may have... Go ahead.
No. I mean, I can't agree with you more. It's, so your BPO needs to understand that ever-changing world, that, what you outsourced a few years ago, where a customer was willing to wait through different press one for this and get to that menu in this time and take 15 minutes to resolve a query. Customers aren't interested in that anymore. They want to resolve when they have a query, they want it resolved now. So you need to work with a BPO that is geared up to what the future is.
Yeah, I agree with you. And it has become even more relevant to connect, to integrate the BPO to the company's culture and system and engine. Because the more you know about the company's clients, the more successful you two are going to be. Right. So in the past, in my case, for example, I used to be the kind of the middle woman, if you will, kind of downloading what clients were looking for, what were our processes, our SOPs. But nowadays, as I was saying before, with the data that we have available, with the systems and the solutions, we do not necessarily need to have this middle person, but what you have to do is integrate the BPO and any other provider that you work with to your culture, to your business, to your ecosystem. And that's when they start kind of integrating and delivering a better service, right?
No, 100%, 100%. That's so selecting your partner has become more important than ever.
Yeah, and they must kind of work with someone that has evolved over time, like you, because as you said, you have been a frontline yourself, and has been leading this company for almost 10 years now, and it's going from 20 states to 2,500, 500 here in the US. So it's such a significant growth, and it speaks volume. Kind of, you
Thank
definitely,
you.
you definitely learned how the business dynamic, the market dynamics, because you were kind of serving not only South Africa, but you were serving different countries, which demands or requires that you understand the dynamics of different businesses in different markets. So congrats, and leaving here a comment to the audience referring you right now, because you're definitely a leader who understands the how the dynamics works, and you adapt yourself to deliver the best service to your clients.
That's it. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Camila.
Let me switch gears a little bit. Let's talk about cost, right? And as a CX leader myself, one of the things that I advocate for is seeing CX as a revenue center rather than a cost center. And when we are talking about partners, BPOs in particular, they see them as cost. What are your thoughts? What are your feelings when you hear something like this? What are the potential that BPOs can kind of bring to the businesses?
Look. I think that let me answer your question by asking you a question, right? What drives revenue in a business? And that is customer acquisition. And what drives customer acquisition is marketing and huge marketing budgets. And it's in today's day and age, it's very expensive to acquire a customer because there are so many competitors coming up with smart ways in which to do it. And the actual and then what keeps customers and retains customers is good customer service. So in too many aspects, customer service is overlooked and treated just as a cost center. But if you're going to treat it just as a cost center in your business, you're going to ultimately not retain the correct number of customers that you need. So if all you focused on is it just being as low cost as possible, you're not going to grow, and you're not going to ultimately give your customers what they're looking for. It's much cheaper to retain a customer with good quality service than it is to acquire a customer. So although it's viewed as a cost center, it's much cheaper just to give good customer service than if you actually take what it costs you to acquire that customer. I don't know if you remember when we were in Miami, but there was a lead guy from a company who spoke at the conference, and there was a company used as an example. I'm not going to bring their name up on here, but they had 10,000 agents across the world that they outsourced BPO to, and they wanted to move completely digital and completely AI driven and no more human interaction. And they did that within 6 months, and their business fell over, and they ended up actually losing half of their customer base. And then to go and recreate what they've done after that is a big challenge and very difficult to do. So I understand that people that companies or buyers are trying to get the best cost possible, and that's why they're choosing destinations like South Africa to outsource to, because you get a very similar quality English to onshore, but at prices that are not exactly the same of India and Philippines, but slightly higher, but you're getting a much better English quality service. So I think there's a balancing act between both. You obviously have to manage your costs, but you can't do that at any sacrifice to your customer service, because you're ultimately going to lose your customers, which can't be any company's objective, right?
Absolutely. I can agree more with what you just said. And coincidentally, this morning, I was a guest in another podcast from South Africa, and we were actually talking about the limiting approach or how kind of a people tend to limit customer support as a cost center, which is not, because as you correctly said, offering a good service is definitely a way or a tool to retain clients. And it's way cheaper to retain the existing ones and having them as promoters of your business than have to constantly go after new ones. especially
Correct.
nowadays. With so many competitors, we are
With
we are
so
all
many competitors, it's you know, it's a very difficult market, and no one can ever think they're invisible, right? It's if you look at the iPhone BlackBerry example, BlackBerry owned the world, and they didn't think touchscreens would work, and within 3 years they were closed down, and iPhone and touchscreens had taken over the world. So it just shows you that you can never, no customer is permanent.
Absolutely. And I think that you have to have a good balance, right? New technologies coming in like AI right now. But at the end of the day, understanding your customer and their preferences in my opinion, matter most. You need to know if they are tech saviors or not, because if they are not, introducing AI may kind of disrupt your business. The speed that you introduce. Of course, you got to balance cost, you got to balance return, but there is no business without clients.
No, 100%. 100%.
Yeah, so I think that my takeaway from this question is that whenever you are kind of looking for partners, in this case a BPO, it's important to understand, in my opinion, is how this partner can understand your business to offer the best solutions for your particular client base. Right. So bringing innovation for sure, but innovation does not come or is not limited to technology. It's process, it's development, it's training people. But there are so many other factors.
So many components, yeah.
That needs to be factored in when you are kind of selecting a service provider. Okay, let's talk about AI. I got a message here that I want to put on the screen. I hope I say her name correct, Aurea. She said, interest take on using AI to enhance our people. Awesome to see innovation from iTalk International in the BPO space. So let's talk about AI, because this is definitely the elephant in the room. How are you dealing with this? As you said, there were a competitor of yours that went all into AI. Of course, it brings efficiency, but how are you dealing this with iTalk?
So, funnily enough, I love AI and I love technology, right? And I think that AI is so incorrectly perceived in the market that, AI is this voiceover bot that's going to sound like a human, think like a human, be like a human, and ultimately take over all human jobs, right? Where, I even sit around conversations with my friends and they don't understand the industry very well. And they just say, aren't you scared of AI? And don't you think AI is going to come and take over your business? And I actually don't think that at all. I think that AI is an amazing tool. We have embraced it and been using AI in our business for many years. And we develop our own tech and develop AI. And where we don't have it and there are better systems out, where we utilize those. But I found that what AI actually is an enhancing tool to give the customer instant gratification sooner and give a better possible outcome while you're on that call. So if you just talk about the recruitment process, we use AI now completely in our recruitment. AI can sift through CVs much better than a recruiter can. We use AI in our training process. AI can train an agent and make sure the agent is skilled enough on your campaign and understands your company ethos a lot better than just a facilitator doing it, because when it asks you questions, it can see where you go wrong and it then knows where to train and enhance that experience. While in our environment, we've invested a fortune into QAing and like a live virtual agent on the call there with you, checking everything you're saying while you're chatting to the customer. And if the customer asks you something that is not part of, historically, if a customer asks you something and you were in the department of giving what an account balance was, and they needed to know something about how they can apply to increase their spend, you wouldn't be able to answer that question. But now with AI, if you utilize it properly, you can make an agent much more multi-skilled. While they're on the phone, they can, if it's built correctly in your environment, they can give answers quicker and solve customer problems much sooner. So Will AI ultimately reduce jobs? Yes, it definitely will, but it's certainly not going to replace them. When people are phoning in and they have a serious complaint, they're not phoning in to speak to a robot dealing with them over that complaint, right? They want to deal with a human, but they want to deal with a human that is powered by strong AI tools that's going to deliver the best result, the best service, and the best possible outcome as soon as possible for that consumer. So I really love AI. I love investing in it. I love learning about it. And we really have embraced it at iTalk. We have built so many tools around it. And, when we pitch to new clients, we show them case studies of what we're doing with all our other clients and how it's further enhanced the process. And in a lot of aspects, it has reduced agents. But I'm okay with that, right? I'm okay with it reducing agents. And if it's going to give the client the best possible service, the best possible outcome, and serve their consumers best.
Oh, I love how you position this, because it definitely wipes away the fear of losing jobs. The way you are positioning is actually how to enhance people's performance. Because at the end of the day, and this is one of my theories, is that AI, of course, AI is bringing this challenge to the job market, but I believe that at the end of the day, we will start kind of valuing the human interaction way more than before. Because we have so many automated solutions, but nothing replaces the human connection. And when you say that you use this to enhance people's performance, I can agree more. Being a frontliner is such a challenging job, right? So you are kind of receiving complaints or dealing with so many different topics on a daily basis. And it's humanly impossible to remember everything, to have all the details, not to mention that sometimes you have to juggle from one platform to another. So it's really kind of a challenging job. But AI comes to help this person to eliminate or significantly reduce this more administrative work and leaving time to what? To the human connection. In a human connection, as we were saying in the beginning of the show, in a more personalized way. Because as you correctly said, consumers and clients their expectations have evolved. So when I contact an organization today, when I contact one of my providers, I do expect that they have a lot more information about my account, my needs than before. And that's exactly what AI does for those frontliners and for the organizations at the end of the day. And one of the things that I want to bring here to this particular topic is AI is definitely a facilitator for customer supports to become a revenue center.
No, 100%. That's I couldn't agree with you there more, right? Because every customer cancellation can be turned into a save. Every customer complaint can be turned into an upsell opportunity, or notifying the guys about new products, and you can turn general CX work into customer acquisition work, upsell work, retention work, getting the customer to spend more with you. So you 100% spot on there.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I advocate about this so much, because again, you can be limited to do your support service, if you will. Oh, there is a problem, they contact support, and you're going to kind of resolve this following the guidelines. But to me, this is just the tip of the iceberg. When I look at the kind of entire organization, particularly for account management, for example, one of the things they struggle the most is to get the client on the phone. Why? We are all in a hurry. So put yourself in the shoes of a client. So you have a business to run, you have kids to go to school, you have a spouse. So you have it all, right? So answering a kind of a cold call from one of your providers may not be one of your priorities. However, if you're already on the phone with that organization because you faced an issue and you feel that you were being heard, you feel that people are taking actions to solve your problem on a timely manner, and moreover, they do understand what are your needs and offer you services that will solve even further for your needs, that's a retention. And it's way kind of a cheaper than the regular or traditional account management system.
It sounds like you read my mind and read our company ethos statement before we had this call, because that's exactly what I believe and exactly what I'm trying with every customer that with every buyer and organization I work with, is to try and turn all customer interactions into revenue opportunities for that client. So I think you're spot on there, and I think that's definitely a key factor for the future of customer service work and general outsourcing.
Maybe I'm going to become a business partner here in the US for you, but this is a topic for a different meeting. But this is one of the this is definitely one of the mindset shift, Jarryd. Again, of course, that you and I have been working in this CX environment, and we do have a clear understanding of the potential of the support team. But this is not true for other departments or for leaders of other segments. And that's why one of the reasons I have this podcast is to push this mindset shift where either support or the vendors, they do not need to be limited as cost only. The more you integrate, the more you understand the potential of your teams, of your different departments, your different vendors, the more you can explore synergies to drive business forward.
And nothing can do that better than AR. So AR is an amazing tool.
Absolutely. Yes, I can agree more with you. So speaking of clients, you have clients all over the world. You have been in this industry for, 2 decades so far. Tell me or share, what is a good kind of client relationship? What is kind of the best experiences that you've ever had?
So look, I can't speak to the breakdowns, right? Because breakdowns are usually client specific and BPO specific, right? Mm-hmm. What I can say is that I know what it takes to make a BPO successful, and I think that I advocate a lot for South Africa, not just for iTalk specifically. So obviously I'd love you to partner up with iTalk, but I'd love you to come into South Africa, regardless whether you opt with us or not. And what I advise buyers out there to seek, right, is I break it down into 3 strong pillars of what your partner needs to provide for you, right?
Love it.
The first one is, which I'll get into a bit more detail. I'll just list the 3 of them first for you. But the first one is variable pricing structures. The second one is your BPO needs to be a collaborator and a problem-solving environment for you, and a problem solver for you. And the third one is tech. So if I talk about tech, right, like I said to you in my AI answer, BPOs, like a BPO in 2026 and beyond, cannot just be an environment where you rent out bums and seats, because that ain't going to cut it anymore, right? You need to work with a BPO that is invested heavily into tech and works with the best tech partners out there. For a lot of buyers that I speak to, AR, there's hundreds and hundreds and maybe thousands of AR salesmen. There's thousands of CRMs to choose with. It's such an overwhelming world to come into for a buyer. So they need to be able to lean on their BPO partners to be the experts in the field of tech for them. They need to offer CRMs, offer AR solutions, offer integrations, and be the implementation partner for them with their providers. So even if you don't use our software, for a lot of the global CRMs, we are also implementation partners. So if you are working on a Salesforce or a Genesis or whatever it may be, right, we can do the implementation work for you, and we understand how to work those systems and gain the best reporting and knowledge out of that. So you've got to make sure, and it's so evident of how it can be shown in RFPs, but your BPO needs to have an unbelievable understanding of tech and almost be a tech first BPO. To follow straight onto that is like a problem solving BPO and a collaborating BPO. And what I mean by that is that the BPO that you're working with needs to be able to solve problems for you and not just worry about bums and seats and revenue, right? And solving that problem might be through tech, not necessarily through adding another person in that seat. And you've got to be able to work with a BPO that can do that for you. You know, we work with the telco in the US that they got inbound leads of people phoning in and upselling fiber products to those customers, home to internet to home, right? And they used to outsource 500 seats with these inbound leads, and they used to generate 10,000 sales, like acquisitions a month of client. They worked with us. They're probably our oldest partner, and we've managed to, over a 3-year period, reduce that 500 headcount down to 200. So we've reduced the headcount by 60%, and we're still delivering an output of 10,000 for them. But we have used technology. We have used integrating into bureaus to ensure the customer has the correct credit when they're applying. We've used so many different AI tools and technology items to get to that point. And then what the buyer is left with is 200 people that are much stronger than the 500 people. So a much better quality agent that's delivering that for you, because you've now got more to spend on that agent because you've lowered the head count. So it's not always a negative when we're lowering head count, right? I still see it as we're still going to earn similar amounts of revenue. It's just going to be through doing different things, through getting involved in tech, so it doesn't have to be seen as a negative, which goes back to the AI thing. And, you know, the third thing that like has always confused me in our space is fixed pricing structures, because the BPO has no skin in the game. So, you know, a lot of buyers that I speak to, I'd prefer to go on a risk-based pricing model with them or a variable pricing model with them than a straightforward of you just pay me. I'm using an example, $15 per hour, right? I mean, I'm just using, that's not what we charge, but I'm just saying $15 an hour. I think that a BPO, the BPOs you work with should be charging $9, $10 an hour as an example, if 15 is the rate. And if they're hitting their KPIs and meeting the requirements that you as a buyer need, then earn $15 per hour. And also, if they're over exceeding and overachieving what they're meant to be doing, which is ultimately what you want, then pay them $18 an hour, because it will convert directly back into your revenue and your exact KPIs. So I think that pricing structures into the future have to change. And if you're just paying a fixed rate, you're not incentivizing your BPO to problem solve for you and to work with technologies and those sorts of things. You have to bring an outcome-based payment method approach into it. And I strongly believe that through education and through understanding that process, that buyers should strongly look into that into the future. So if you bring it all together, you know, you need a BPO that focuses on tech. You need a BPO that problem solves, whether it's through humans, technology, AI, and you need to work with a BPO that's not just fixated on only a win-win for them, where we can discuss pricing models that have a win-win for both partners.
Wow, this was a masterclass, and I can't agree more with you. And just by listening to you, I was thinking here that whenever we engage in a partnership with an external vendor, clients or organizations, they have many requirements. And I think you are completely right when you say that BPO has the responsibility of being on top of technology and processes, because this mindset of problem solver is what differentiate the good from the bad services, if you will. But I would love to explore the other side of the fence as well, which is, what do you need from client, right? So you're giving some examples of openness, of collaboration, because if the organization just kind of treat the vendor as an external service provider and does not integrate, does not have this kind of a collaborative mindset, this will also limit your capabilities or your ability to deliver more. So I just want to highlight this, because this is something that I've always had in my mind when engaging with external providers, that it's not just me asking, but also me giving as well. So how can we work together in tandem in a very collaborative way for the best of our clients? Because at the end of the day, so I'm going to become your client. You're going to be kind of engaging with my client. So there is this connection, this sync of different parties involved that will benefit very much if we operate in a very collaborative way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's a broad answer to that question, right? But I think that upfront, right? There's nothing really, because upfront you're tendering for work and you're hoping that buyer is going to select you and you start the journey together. But I think what you need from buyers is an open mind once you start the process, because what they understood previously as the right way of doing things could be completely evolved if they choose the correct BPO partner, and they could, within 2 or 3 years, their whole customer journey and output could be completely different if they have open minds and work with their partners.
Absolutely. So look at that Brad from who we met here in Miami. So he said, so tech is changing continuously. IT teams are shrinking, and there is a great need for managed service post-integration. Who knows the tech and business needs better? The BPO partner.
Correct. No, thank you, Brad. I think you answered exactly what Camila was answering. So you have to lean towards your BPO and allow them to test and trial things in their environment that can improve your process, right? Because then that's what true partnership eventually becomes, an extension of your business, a partner who's working to give you the best possible outcome and the best possible service, not just drive revenue from you to enrich their space.
Oh, no, not at all. So we are not checking boxes. We are definitely problem solving. And for us to solve the problem, we need to understand what is this problem. That's why collaboration is so important. The more you know, the more capable you're going to be to solve that problem. And let me kind of share here a comment from Kinesh that I loved very much. So he said, I love the provocation that BPOs of the past are not what clients and customers need from BPOs of the future. The future BPO partner is a business that embraces advancement in technology, hires and retains best people, and provides best-in-class variable pricing and tight process management. BPOs, in my opinion, are extension of a client and provide skills and services that are specialized and allow for clients to focus on profitable growth and scale. I'm completely aligned with Jarryd's. So look at this comment. So that's definitely
so look,
maybe you already have another partner to work with.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and those are the, I'm hoping after this, if buyers are watching and looking and seeing that, they need to work with BPOs that understand what the future of BPOs look like. And I hope I've given good enough examples or good enough understandings of how this is all going to evolve and what BPOs should do in the future. Because at the end of the day, there is thousands of BPOs out there to choose from, maybe hundreds, thousands, I'm not sure. But so it makes it very difficult. And if you follow these key guidelines of what I'm giving you, I'm almost certain if your BPO can deliver on what I've mentioned, you will get the outcome that you're looking for. Or just partner with iTalk and you're 100% to get the outcome you're looking for.
That's what I was about to say. Partner with you and they're going to get it all. So Jarryd, time flew by. We are approaching the end
of
this.
Wow, it did, eh? It really did.
I told you this would fly by. But I'm pretty sure that after listening to you, people will want to connect with you. So I want to give you the time and the opportunities to share your contact information and also let them know what are the main projects that you were working on, what do you have in flight, what are you most excited about recently?
Yeah, look, firstly, Camila, thank you to you. Thank you for hosting me on your show. I haven't been on a podcast in a while, and I've really loved and enjoyed this, so thank you. I appreciate the time, and I hope the buyers that were listening in hopefully got to learn something from what we discussed today. I'm sure they did. And yeah, iTalk, I'm very bullish on the future. We currently have a pipeline of about 300 seats that we're rolling out over the next 8 to 12 months. One of the partners within that has operations in the US, UK, Europe, and India, which is quite exciting for us. And you can contact us by reaching out on LinkedIn. My profile is Jarryd Lahoud. That's probably the easiest way. All my details are there, my number to contact me, my email address. And I look forward to, any sort of sessions with anyone, even if it's just to help that buyer and in their current environment. I'm there to help. And I just love the industry, love where I am. And I don't think, I believe I'll be here till retirement. So that's yeah. Thank you.
Wow. Yeah. No, thank you. And we can feel how passionate you are about this industry and about what you do. So from my end, I cannot thank you enough. It was a pleasure to meet you in person while here in Miami. And I'm glad that we've had the chance to podcast. It is clear to me that you and we share the same values and the same principles in the field of CX. So this is good. It's always good to talk to minds alike. And thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for taking the time and sharing all of those learnings and tips around the BPO industry. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks, Camila. Keep well, eh? Cheers.
Cheers.
And thank you to everyone who listened.